Hey there, everybody. This is Kevin O'Shaughnessy with Schooley Mitchell Red Bank. I'm starting a new series now, what I like to call Spotlight on the Entrepreneur. So today I'm sitting down with Brent Ward from Left Coast Facilities Consulting. How you doing, Brent? And thanks for coming.
Doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, this is a fun idea. I figured we're going to try to get that solopreneur kind of a guy, someone who's out there doing hard work for himself. So why don't you just start off maybe a little bit about your background and how you got yourself into facilities management and facilities consulting?
Well, I was raised in a construction family, so I've been hanging around construction all my life. When I was 9 years old, I was running backhoes around on my uncle's construction site and digging holes. Couldn't get away with that today, but it was fun back then when it was.
That's every kid's dream, right there.
Allowable, exactly. I grew up, went to high school, got a degree in mechanical and architectural drafting and design.
Oh, okay.
And then started working for a living in construction. I've had jobs as an estimator, a cost estimator, superintendent, project manager. Ended up working for a school district as a technician. Mm-hmm. And then got promoted to be what they called maintenance coordinator, which was pretty much running their capital expenditure projects, making sure that vendors did what they were supposed to and that they were qualified, et cetera. And then when they had a budget cut, if you can imagine that in an education industry, had a budget cut, I got laid off. Mm-hmm. And I decided that I loved facilities so much that I was going to get a job as a facilities manager. And that was where it began. And so, yeah, I've been in the facilities side of things for over a decade now. Mm-hmm. And then after my last job, a mentor told me that I needed to be a consultant instead of going to work for somebody again. And mm-hmm. I did some research, and here we are.
Well, yeah, I mean, the job itself, I consider it, very cerebral, right? It's almost like every day is a puzzle. You have all these things and you're putting in place. So like I said, you branched out on your own after what? Well, I'm guessing more than a decade, I guess, of experience, right?
Yep.
So like we've seen in a lot of other industries, right? You see CFOs become fractional. You see sales managers, it's a fractional thing. I mean, and lawyers have been doing it for years, on retainer here or there. So this truly makes sense to me. When I heard about what you're up to, I thought, well, that's an interesting aspect because some companies just aren't necessarily big enough, right, to bring on someone like you full time. Probably couldn't afford you, and it makes sense. So maybe go through a little bit of what that entails. Like, what are you going to offer to this company? If I'm a manufacturer, I have a big plant. Tell me why I need you. Why do I need to bring you in?
Well, smaller businesses, like you said, can't afford a full-time facilities manager. They just don't have the revenue. They don't have enough space to warrant it. And they're usually so focused on running and managing their business, they forget about their assets, their HVAC system, their roof, their building envelope, the asphalt that they park on, even their fleet of vehicles. Mm-hmm. And so maintenance doesn't get done as it should on that equipment. Well, that will shorten the lifespan of that maintenance, those items by 40 to 60%.
Oh boy, wow.
So, you can pay a little bit every year to have preventative maintenance done and keep those things maintained so that they will live at least to their lifespan, maybe even beyond. Mm-hmm. Or you could not maintain them and you can replace those maybe 50% of their lifespan. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I offer is I'll come in and I will inventory your assets, sit down and write out these things need to be done on this piece of equipment and with this frequency, mm-hmm. and give you that plan, and then you can manage it from there. If you want, I can put it in my software, which will have everything on a schedule. It'll mm-hmm. kick me out a work order, and I can let you know that this needs to be done. We can go do that. And that will preserve your assets. So that really becomes a profit center because now you're not going to replace that $50,000 HVAC unit in 10 or 12 years. It's going to be 20 or 25 years. So you mm-hmm. can plan for it now mm-hmm. as opposed to having it suddenly go belly up because you didn't maintain it.
And always at the worst time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you do have to replace it, then that's a CapEx project. I can come in, write the RFQ for that,
Mm-hmm.
which most business owners wouldn't have the expertise to do. They would probably just call an HVAC guy and have him come replace it,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing what they're getting or anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we could write that RFQ, get quotes, vet the vendors, and then make a determination who's the best fit to do the job for that particular instance. And then one of the big things that's out there is sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just
Yeah.
replacing your lights with LEDs and low flow water fixtures. It's a matter of making sure that everything you purchase is done in a green way, that the manufacturer is as green as possible, that they ship things as green as possible, that you order things in quantity so that you have as few trucks coming into your facility as possible, so that when it comes down to your ESG reporting and all those things, your numbers are small, which increases the value of your company. So sustainability really is another profit center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Millennials, Gen Zers really want to buy products from a company that's sustainable. Mm-hmm. They'll pay more for a product from a sustainable company than a product from a company that is not sustainable. So that is more business for you if you become a sustainable company. So we can take you from cradle to grave on becoming sustainable.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I agree. It'd be a nice thing for a company to be able to advertise, saying that they're holding true to this. It's my understanding that a lot of that at the moment is still a voluntary thing, but there's compliance coming through, and especially in California and now Washington, where you are. So will you also be able to kind of help these companies, be in compliance? And so if the state does come knocking, or at some point, I don't know when that kicks in. Is it 2030 or something that's going to happen? Or
their Clean Air Act in Washington hits in 2026, 7, and 8. It's phased in.
Okay.
So yeah, even smaller businesses with a building that's between 20 and 50,000 square feet have reporting to do on that law, and a lot of them don't realize that. So that's another thing that I do is help them to keep up with legislation to make sure that they don't get hit with a fine down the road, that they're in compliance with those things.
There you go. See, another finding more additions to that profit center over and over. So let's give our viewers like a little freebie here. So when you go back to when you talk about the maintenance schedules, otherwise, what's the one, or even just in general, what's the one thing that most say facilities, they, for whatever reason, they hate paying for that and they skip it, but it comes back to bite them in the what? But give them a free one.
HVAC systems, they're out of sight, they're out of mind. A lot of times they're up on the roof, you never see it. Maybe you've got your air handler is visible, and so hopefully you change the filter every month, every 2 months at the latest. But you forget about the fact that there's belts and pulleys and compressors and refrigerant up on the roof. And if you've got a little refrigerant leak, then that thing is working harder to try to keep your building at temperature. If your pulley gets out of whack and it's wobbling, then it's wearing the belt out and it's also working harder. So, to maintain those things on a regular basis makes them more energy efficient, which saves you money, and makes them last longer, which saves you money.
Yeah, that's a great point, because when something's out of sight, it's like they say, out of mind, right? It's just, you worry about it all of a sudden when you come in one day and it's really hot. You're like, uh-oh.
Exactly.
But by that point, it's probably a little bit too late. So, and one of the other things I think I saw on your website is you talked a little bit about, optimization and otherwise. So as part of your services, can you also help a plant manager or whomever, a plant, sort of optimize their floor space? Can you help with ideas on automation? Not that we want to put people out of work and start with robots, but you know what I mean? just helping make things a little better.
Yeah. A lot of small businesses, they started with 2 or 3 pieces of equipment, and as they grew, they added pieces of equipment. And sometimes they bring raw materials in and it jumps all over the plant before it finally goes out the door. And so looking at that workflow and trying to rearrange the equipment so that materials come in, they have a flow, and they go out the back door, so there's less movement it'll save them money, and therefore there's a way to increase your bottom line without having to raise your prices or sell more. And then two, automation doesn't have to be robots. Many times it can just be a conveyor.
Mm-hmm.
Just not even an electric conveyor, just one where you can roll parts from one machine to the next machine without having to physically carry them.
Mm-hmm.
Minimizes potential workers' comp claims, and it increases the speed of the workflow.
Yeah. The one theme I'm just gaining overall here is definitely efficiency, and I'm all about that as well. I love it's the old work smart, not hard, and like you say, keep those things smooth and running. So now let's talk about what would be your target client. Like what would suit best if someone's listening to this, and how big or small, and it sounds like from when you started before too, you'll sort of put together an ad hoc idea for someone, right? Like kind of give them the plan, they follow it themselves, or you'll like you say, you'll go right with them cradle to grave. So, but what's that target you're looking for?
Well, that's an interesting question, because it originally I thought small businesses, but I realized that a lot of bigger businesses, in fact, I'm in talks right now with a client that has a facilities manager on staff and a maintenance staff.
Mm-hmm.
But they've grown to the point where they realize he can't handle it all. So there were in talks about him handling all the day-to-day routine type thing, but then we'll come in and handle bigger issues, the CapEx projects for them. Also, they evidently don't have a real robust preventative maintenance program. So they're looking at having me come in and get that set, so that, and then a lot of times have vendors come in and do that work, so that their minimal staff can just handle the day-to-day calls and work orders that come in. So size of a company doesn't really matter. Obviously, a little company is probably not going to be worried too much about sustainability. That'll be a bigger company, but every company can benefit from preventative maintenance and asset preservation, whether that's the HVAC unit on the roof or the truck that they use to get out to jobs in.
Right. You're I'm thinking about when I get the oil change in my car, like you're that little sticker that they put up in the corner and tell me when I got to come back, right? But obviously on a much larger scale and much more efficiently, because what happens is people see that sticker and they think, I can stretch this out another couple thousand miles, right? And that's exactly what these facilities do. And instead, you're going to be there as the sort of the warlord over that and say, no, guys, it's not worth it. There's a schedule for a reason, right? That's what you did, which is great. All right. So was there anything else I missed? What other kind of services, maybe something niche or something that you can offer that might be interesting?
The RFQ piece is kind of key. It's a piece where that way you can make sure you're going to get the equipment and the service that you need, as opposed to just calling somebody, hey, I need my air compressor replaced, or I need my HVAC unit replaced, and they come and do whatever is the most profitable for them. So that leads to spec writing. So if you're going to do a remodel or build a new building, I've got the resources to write those specs. I've got an architect in my back pocket that I can use if you want. And that's, I think, one of the big things is my network is huge. So if you need something,
you got a guy.
Probably have somebody that
got a guy.
I got a guy.
I like it.
And that's huge. And so that has become valuable for my clients. Is they don't know what to do. They call me, can you figure this out? And I go, well, no, I can't, but I know somebody who can.
Exactly. Perfect.
I'll make a phone call. We'll get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, part of what you're saying there is like similar to with my business. I mean, everybody I think could use a liaison between themselves or management and either the salesperson or the vendor, because salespeople are great. They're really good at what they do, and but sometimes it's not the product or what you really need. And the other key factor, which I'm hearing you say, which sort of my mantra for Schooley Mitchell is, look, you know what you are paying, or you know what they're charging you, but you don't know what you should be paying. Whereas, you, Brent, as this, decades more experience, know really what the cost of these things should be, and you can keep them in that realistic range, right?
Yep. Exactly. And, you know, with supply chain issues these days as well, sometimes, you know, we might RFQ and do something and they'll say, well, this is 18 to 24 weeks out. And it's like, that's just not acceptable. So now we got to go back to the drawing board and request from those same vendors alternates.
Mm-hmm.
And then evaluate those alternates. Do they really truly meet the criteria that we need? And then we can select one and move forward. But if you just call a guy, now you're committed. And if it's 18 weeks out, you're in trouble.
Yeah, they'll just give you whatever they have or something there too.
Yep.
That's that's great stuff. I mean, I wish you tremendous luck. I can see the value in this. Absolutely. I wish I even just in life, I wish I had a facilities coordinator to help me through things, you know. So that's fantastic. But all right, but how about on the personal side? What does Brent Ward like to do just for some fun and kick back on the weekends or nights?
I used to golf a lot, but my shoulder doesn't allow me to do that very much anymore. So
getting old, there you go.
I'll go on easy hikes. You know, I'm not a mountain climber by any stretch of the imagination, but a good 3 or 4 mile hike is out in the woods is so therapeutic. Mm-hmm. After a couple of weeks of the day-to-day thing, getting out there is just a marvelous thing, and I'd love to do that with my family. Absolutely. And you live in a beautiful place of the country here. I mean, you can't, it'd be a shame to, be sitting inside for that. That's for sure. So absolutely. Well, Brent, anyway, thank you so much for being part of my spotlight on entrepreneurs. And just real quick, I mean, we'll give out your information, but what's the quickest way if somebody wants to get in touch with you to talk more or even hire you? What's the best way to reach you? Probably my website, www.leftcoastfc.com. And then there's a button they can click on there to get in touch with me. That's awesome. All right, Brent. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Kevin. Take care.